A long time ago in a land far, far away, or maybe it was just yesterday in your town, there lived a man who practiced Stoic philosophy. He was so good at applying Stoic principles that he had mastered the art of not caring. So he joined them and saw a slave being led to a nearby hill. The man in charge announced that this slave had been sentenced to death by stoning. A few months later, the philosopher opened up a sandal shop right across from the man in charge's house. He walked into the philosopher's shop and screamed, "Why are you making more money than me? You got lucky because I gave you that slave." The philosopher looked up from his work and calmly replied, "You may have given me the slave, but you also gave me freedom. I'm free to do what I want with my life, free to pursue my goals, and free to make my own decisions." We can choose to focus on the positive and find opportunities in every situation. The key is to remember that we can't control everything. And sometimes the best thing we can do is to let go and trust in the process. You, on the other hand, are still stuck in this town, working the same job you've always worked, and thinking the same thoughts you've always thought. And remember the story of the philosopher who mastered the art of not caring. Let go of the situation and focus on what you can control. Trust me, you'll be better off in the long run. You're a slave to your circumstances, and that's why you'll never be truly rich. His new business was doing well. The sandals were so comfortable and high quality that everyone in town wanted to buy them. Soon he became so successful that he was making more money than the man in charge. The crowd was silent for a moment, and then someone shouted, "Let's go see it." Our philosopher calmly walked up to the man in charge and asked, "Can I have this slave for the rest of my life?" He was so angry that he started throwing things, but the philosopher just smiled and kept making his sandals. In this story, the philosopher was able to stay calm and focused on his work no matter what distractions or obstacles were in his way. He knew that the only way to achieve true success was to focus on what was under his control and let go of everything else. After the man left, the philosopher picked up his tools and went back to work. He wasn't bothered by the tantrum the man had thrown. He knew that he had to focus on his craft and continue to make the best sandals in the world. When he heard this, the man in charge burst out laughing. "Are you crazy? This guy's going to be killed. Why would I sell him to you?" "I don't mind," said the philosopher. "People who seek to distract us from our goals, news stories that fill us with fear and uncertainty, and social media posts that make us feel like we're not good enough. But if we can learn to detach ourselves from these things and focus on what's under our control, we can achieve true success and happiness. If you give me the slave, I will take care of his living expenses. And when he dies, I will pay you back whatever you have spent on him." The man in charge agreed to this deal and handed the slave over to the philosopher. He didn't care about money, fame, or power. He didn't care what people thought of him. He didn't even care if they hated him. He didn't care because he understood that all these things were outside of his control. One day, as he was walking through the market, he saw a group of people gathered around something. When the other people heard this, they asked the philosopher why he wanted to buy a slave who was going to die. The philosopher just smiled and kept walking. Later, when they met again, they asked him again, and he told them, "This is my new business partner. I am teaching him how to make the best sandals in the world." The people were shocked. "But he's going to die soon. How can you teach him anything?" The philosopher replied, "Because he's not going to die soon. He's going to live for many more years, and we're going to make a lot of money together." As they continued to walk, the people saw the slave working with the philosopher. They couldn't believe their eyes. It seemed like the philosopher had brought the dead back to life. Now, here's where the story gets really interesting. One day, the man in charge couldn't take it anymore. The man in charge couldn't argue with what the philosopher had said. He knew it was true. The Stoics believed that we should master our emotions so that nothing can disturb our inner peace. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with things that can upset us. As the philosopher said to the man in charge, we have the freedom to choose our thoughts and actions. So the next time you find yourself getting upset over something that's out of your control, take a deep breath.